Welcome to The Explainer. So think about this. Literally every 60 seconds, another massive leap in artificial intelligence is completely rewriting the rules of business. It's like watching entire industries evolve overnight as these algorithms optimize our workflows at just blinding speeds. It's an incredibly thrilling time, but it also forces us to take a step back and really examine the core human element behind all this transformation. Because as we reshape our world from the ground up, the biggest question isn't what the software is going to do next. It's how we're actually going to lead in it. Which brings us directly to the massive elephant in the room, right? Is AI going to just replace your leadership? It's a super common myth floating around out there right now. With all these machine learning models making lightning-fast decisions, predicting trends, and putting tasks on autopilot, it's really easy to assume that traditional leadership functions are simply becoming obsolete. Some folks genuinely believe technology will eventually erase the need for human leaders altogether. But as we're going to see, the reality is quite different. In fact, leadership is becoming exponentially more vital. Let's kick things off with part one, the age of uncertainty. We are living in a world of just constant change. So why does everything feel so up in the air right now? Well, it basically boils down to three rapid-fire triggers. First up, technology is just sprinting forward. We're talking months now instead of decades. Second, markets are flipping overnight thanks to rogue startups and wild sudden disruptions. And third, customer and employee expectations have completely shapeshifted from where they were even just 3 years ago. When you smash these three forces together, you get this incredible momentum, but you also create a ton of deep, pervasive uncertainty across every single level of a company. And there's this great quote, "During times of uncertainty, leadership becomes a stabilizing force." If you really think about it, when tech accelerates and adds all these layers of chaotic complexity, people aren't turning to a server rack for comfort. No way. They're looking right at you. Employees and teams desperately need direction. The faster the world spins around us, the higher our human craving for stability and clarity becomes. You essentially become the anchor in the middle of the storm. Moving on to part two, what AI cannot replace. These are the fundamentally human traits. Look, AI is absolutely brilliant at chewing through mountains of data, spitting out instant insights, and automating repetitive tasks. It is flawless at that stuff. But human leadership, that is an entirely different architecture, and it's built on vision, judgment, and empathy. Technology absolutely supports leadership. It hands you the insights so you can make the call, but it doesn't replace the actual human who has to, make that call. An algorithm can calculate a probability all day long, but it cannot take responsibility. There are really 5 traits that are just fundamentally human. First is vision. That's spotting a future that literally doesn't exist yet. Then there's judgment, which is making that brutal, tough call when the data is super muddy or conflicting. Third is empathy, right? Being able to read the emotional temperature of a room when a project tanks or your team is totally burned out. Fourth is trust, which you only earn through shared vulnerability and integrity, something a machine simply cannot manufacture. And finally, communication, actually inspiring real people to take real action. You just can't automate these qualities. They are uniquely yours. That takes us to part 3, the power of vision, and how we provide true direction. So technology creates the possibilities, right? But leadership determines which ones are actually worth pursuing. Why does this specific trait matter so incredibly much in a landscape that's just dominated by tech? Because without a human leader's vision, organizations end up playing whack-a-mole. They just react to every shiny new piece of software that hits the market, buying tools without any real strategy. AI might map out 100 different routes a company could take, but it takes you, the human leader, to turn that abstract opportunity into a concrete, cohesive strategy. You bring the purpose. All right, part 4, your competitive advantage. This is all about building a sustainable edge. To really wield this advantage, your job basically flips from a defensive posture to going all out on offense. You're no longer just managing the day-to-day operations. Now, you're driving innovation to spark those wild, brilliant ideas. You're pushing continuous learning to keep everybody's skills sharp. You're building agility into the system so you can dodge whatever crazy curveball the market throws at you next. And, crucially, you're actively developing the people around you. You're creating this amazing ecosystem where both the humans and the tech can really thrive together. And here's the ultimate reality check, guys. Technology can be bought, but leadership has to be developed. Think about it. In just a few short years, every single competitor out there is going to have access to the exact same AI tools, the exact same machine learning models, and the exact same automation software that you do. So what actually sets you apart? It's not the tech. It's how effectively the human leaders leverage that tech to shape the culture and execute the game plan. Your human leadership is literally the ultimate sustainable differentiator. Okay, so how do we actually future-proof our careers starting today? First off, you've got to rewire yourself for adaptability. Be ready to toss out the old playbook the second new information drops. Stay ruthlessly curious about how these new tools actually work beneath the hood and how they can serve your team. Make continuous learning a daily habit. Never assume your current skill set is the finish line. And most importantly, just help people succeed. At the end of the day, leadership is really about lifting up the folks around you. When we pull all of this together, it becomes so incredibly clear. Change is speeding up. Technology is layering on massive amounts of complexity to our daily grinds. And because of that exact reason, teams are starving for direction and organizations are absolutely desperate for real vision. Adaptability isn't just a nice to have anymore. It's the absolute baseline for survival. So the AI era isn't shrinking the need for leadership at all. It's actively, dramatically cranking it up. So here's what I want to leave you with today. Technology shapes the future, absolutely. But where will your leadership take it? AI is this incredibly powerful instrument, but right now, it's just sitting there waiting for your vision, your judgment, and your empathy to actually guide it. The tools are ready and waiting. The vision? Well, that's entirely up to you.